Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Akram and you're watching Knowledge 360. In this video, we'll discuss about Dynamic SQL in PostgreSQL database. And I have listed these 8 use cases that can be possible in Dynamic SQL in PostgreSQL database. So there are also some other examples that we'll cover in the next video. Those are some advanced topic. So I'm not covering those things in this video. So in this video, I'll cover these 8 topics. Okay, so these are use cases where we can use the dynamic SQL in PostgreSQL, such as we can use in DDL, data definition language. Suppose at the runtime we want to create a table, we want to drop a table, we want to perform some other alter statements. So we can perform any kind of DDL statements using dynamic SQL. Also, we can perform SCL. SCL stands for session control language. That also is possible using dynamic SQL in PostgreSQL database. And also we can prepare a where condition using dynamic SQL, and also we can do write select into query. Usually we write in PLPG language or PLSQL language in Oracle, that we will do the same thing but using dynamic SQL is also possible. And also similarly we can do select into using query as well. And also there is option to open a ref cursor using the return query as well. And also one more example is dynamic multiple query open loop example. I will also show this one. And also dynamic DML. DML stands for data manipulation language, like insert and update, like that. So I'll cover all these one by one, and in the next video I'll also cover some advanced use cases of dynamic SQL that I'm not covering in this video. So subscribe my channel to get the notifications or check out those videos from my channel page. So let's start with the first example of dynamic SQL in the runtime DDL. Okay, so here is my table. I'm creating one table, say create table employees. I have these columns: ID, name, department, and salary. Okay, so the table is created. I can verify the same here in the public schema. If I refresh, I can see the employees table is created. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll create a function that is alter table function, and I'm passing two variables, say column name and data type. Okay, all those both are of varchar, and I'm returning a void because I don't need to return anything. Okay, so what I'm writing in the dynamic SQL, that alter table employees add column, the column name that I'll be passing dynamically, and the data type. Okay, the data type will be here. So this type of dynamic SQL will be used when you want to create any dynamic changes in your in your application at the runtime. Say you want to make option of dynamic form for users through application, they can do that. Okay, so let's create this function. Okay, the function is created. Now I'll call this function, and then also first let me show the columns. Okay, so as of now I have these 4 columns. Now let's add the new column. Okay, so it returns void because I have given the void return. Okay, the email is created. If I add another thing, it will be added to that. Okay, so this way we can perform any dynamic changes in in the runtime. Okay, so we can perform any kind of DDL operations. Okay, so this was the first example. Let's go to the second one. Okay, in the second example, what I'll do, I'll show you how we can control the session at the runtime. Okay, so I have created one function, and I'm setting the session uh, with the different values. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll first create this function, and what will be the variable name and what will the value that I'm passing as parameter. Okay, and same as return, I'm returning void as the return type. Okay, so this one I'll show the example. If I show you my current time is, you can see it's plus 5:30 GMT, that is India Standard Time IST. Okay, so now what do, I'll change the time zone. Okay, so I'll call this function. I'll pass two parameters, time zone, and the value is UTC. So what it will do, it will set the session, and the first value will be set as the time zone to the time zone value that I'm passing as UTC. Okay, so let's do that. If I execute this one, okay, it is done successfully. Now again, if I do select now, okay, see, if you see, the UTC time has changed and it's showing this time now. Okay, which is the UTC time. Before this, it was showing my own time zone. That was IST time zone. Okay, so this way I have done the SCL, session control language, and also I can also change the role as well. I can perform the similar thing, set role, and I can pass one parameter as role, so it will change the role. Okay, so for that I have created a function, and I'm taking a input parameter as role name, and same as returning I'm void, because I don't want anything to return from my function. Okay, so the function is created. Now let's call that function. If I uh, if I show you, I have one role, okay, named as DVD rental. By default I have connected with Postgres role, but I'll change the my session to DVD rental. Okay, so it's run successfully, so my role is changed to DVD rental, but I'll again change it to Postgres. Okay, so this way also we can perform our SCL, that is session control language. And also uh, let's move to next example. Okay, next example is to create a where condition dynamically. So for that, let's drop the existing table that we had created. Okay, I have dropped the table, employees table I have dropped. Again, I'll create this table with this. If I refresh, I'll get the new table with the new columns. Okay, so now I have a few dummy data to insert. Okay, I have inserted three records. Now what I'll do, I'll create one function. Okay, I'll give two input parameters. Let me take the return type here. Okay, so one is attribute name and the second one is attribute value. So what I'm trying to do is I'm taking all the data from employees table, where the attribute name and the attribute value will be passed through the parameter at the runtime. Okay, so from my application I can pass any combination of where clause. Okay, so basically I'm doing that. Let me create this function first. Okay, the function is created now. Here I have taken example of department and IT. So the department is the attribute name, where clause, the first value will be the department. So what will be my SQL query? Select star from employees where department equals to the second value that I am giving here as input is IT. Okay, so let's query this. Okay, so I'll get this output. Okay, if I verify that where department is IT, I'll get all the data of the such employees. Okay, okay, this example is of filtering data again, but this example is of select into clause. Okay, how we can perform the into operation in the using the dynamic SQL. Okay, so in this, what I'm trying to do, I'm giving the same variables as input parameter, attribute name and attribute value. Okay, so here also I'm trying to get select salary only. Okay, from employees table, where the condition is same as the previous one, where attribute name and attribute value. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll instead of returning the table, okay, what I'm doing, I'm storing that output into one variable and I'll return that variable. Okay, the last time what you had seen that I was returning a table, but here my return type is a numeric value. Okay, so I'll return this numeric value. First, let's create this function. Okay, the function is created. Now let's query the table. Okay, so here if you see my um, value, input value, that on which column I'm trying to uh, perform the search operation on name column. So basically what my SQL query will perform, select salary from employees table where name equals to John Doe. Okay, so let's execute this one. If I see, okay, the salary of John Doe is returned. If you remember the data that I had given there, the salary was like this. Okay, so this was an example of into. Okay, so in the next example, I'll show you how to perform the select into and using a clause. Okay, so here's one more example of using parameter. In the previous videos, sorry, in the previous examples, I was using this attribute name and attribute value. Okay, so now this one, I have used using this using keyword. Okay, and other things are same, and I have used one more thing that with the salary I'm returning the name. So hence I have changed my return type from numeric to character. Okay, so I have declared two variables here, one of numeric and one of character, to store the name value of employees. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is say I'm trying to make a SQL query dynamically where I want to return select salary and name from employees where okay, if you don't remember, don't know, so these are the uh, placeholder for taking the runtime value. Just like in Oracle we use colon, so in PostgreSQL we use this dollar symbols. Okay, so on to the next part. Okay, I'm using here using keyword, and in the same serial I need to provide the uh, variables. Okay, so suppose in this case if I use a third dynamic value, so I need to give that dynamic value again. Suppose say I used again this attribute value again. Okay, so I don't need to declare another value and give. I can give the same value. Okay, so here what I've done, I have taken two variables in the select clause. So in that serial I have taken into salary and name. If I do exchange, it will give me the data type error because the first value belongs to the first placeholder, that is the LV salary, which should be of numeric type. Okay, so now let's perform this. Let's first create this function. Okay, the function is created. Now what I'll try to do is I'll try to get the ID, sorry, I try to get the salary and name of employees where ID is equals to 1. Okay, if I execute this one, you will be able to see. Okay, so it says that John Joe having salary this, because I'm returning this character. Okay, so this was one more example of dynamic SQL where we are implementing the using keyword. So on to the next example. Okay, this example is of about ref cursor. If you have seen my ref cursor videos, you must be knowing these things. But still, let me cover this. But in this case, what I have done, the query which is prepared, that is the dynamic query. It is not simple like a open cursor for the select query, but instead of that, I have this time I have taken one simple example. At this place, select star from employees. It can be your dynamic query, that can be complex view query or very complex implementation. But to show the example, I have taken a simple use case here. Okay, so what I have done, let me explain a bit about this because this is somewhat different from other examples. Okay, I have created a function called get employee details function, and I have passed one input parameter output ref cursor, and the data type is of ref cursor, and also I'm trying to return a ref cursor. Okay, so I have declared one variable called dynamic query. I've taken as it text. You can take it as character as well, no issues. Okay, and the dynamic query, it is prepared. The select query should be stored in this dynamic query, and the next step is to open the cursor. Okay, open the cursor means the output ref cursor that I'm taking as input. Okay, for execute, uh, we need to execute this dynamic query. So what it will do, it will open a cursor. Okay, for this query output. Okay, whatever query in this store, uh, that will be in output, the cursor will be open. Okay, and from this I am returning the cursor because my return type is a ref cursor. So this variable output ref cursor is a ref cursor, as you can see here. Okay, so let me first create this function. Okay, the function is created successfully. Now let's call this function. So to call the function, we need to follow this approach. So this is the function name, and this is the variable name, that is output ref cursor. and we need to also write the fetch all in output ref cursor. This is the variable name. Okay, this is because this is a ref cursor example. Okay, we are not returning the table, instead we are returning the ref cursor. Okay, if you see here, all the table, all the employees data returned. I'll show you again. Okay, so this returns data. If I can write here like where id equals to 1, and I need to again execute this one. Okay, so now if I execute this one, it will return the data of employee ID 1 only. Okay, so like this it works. Okay, so this was about the ref cursor and how we can write the open for execute and return the query. Okay, this is about is returning multiple values through the loop. Okay, so that example also let's cover. So I'll drop the existing employees table and I'll create a new employee table as per my requirement. I'll add some dummy data to the table. Okay, and now I have created one dynamic query function. Okay, what it does, it will take one condition as input parameter and it will return the table. And the table, if you have seen my how to return tables from a function video, I have explained these things. Okay, we can mention the table name as well as return data type. Also we can return, we can mention the values. Okay, what are the values to be returned? Okay, I have given here id, name, department and the data type, and you need to remember that it should match the data type as the return type. Okay, so now my query, okay, I have also declared one row type variable of employees, since I'll be storing the data of employees table into this variable. Okay, and also I have declared one query text, that is the variable that will make the SQL query at the runtime. Okay, so in the condition part, if you see, I am passing one runtime input. Okay, that will perform my where clause of my SQL query. So what I'm doing, select start from employees where, and the input condition that I'll be getting from the parameter. Okay, so for example, say here I have already done it. So what it will do, it will make the query like this: select star from employees where the department equals to IT. Okay, so these things I have done for maintaining the proper quotation. Okay, so this way the query will be prepared and whatever records are there, that will be put into the loop and that will be fetched. Okay, so for that what I've done, I have uh, opened the for loop. Okay, for employee record in execute query loop. Okay, so until now we haven't executed the query. What is my query? Okay, in this step I'm executing the query, execute query. This one, this will execute the dynamic query and it goes into the loop. Okay, so in the id variable I'm putting the emp record dot id variable. As we know that in this employees table we have three columns: id, name and department. So one by one I'm putting into corresponding variables and I'm returning the next. Okay, so let's execute this first. Okay, the function is created successfully. Now let's call that function. I should get the data. Okay, so here I'm getting the data. Integer 2 with Jane Smith IT, and also one more is with ID 5 Jane Smith. Okay, so I got those data into in from this dynamic SQL for loop. Performing. Okay, the next example is about performing the DML statements in using the dynamic SQL. Okay, we need to perform delete cascade. Okay, the table is dropped now. Okay, I'll create the table again with the values that I want. I'll insert some dummy values here. Okay, the next is I'll create the function to show example of this. Okay, so this is the last example of this video. So what I have done, I have created one function. Okay, and I have taken the input parameter as table name, column name, the value, the condition, and the condition value, and I'm returning as returning void value because I don't want any return things. So one variable that I have declared is SQL statement. This in this case you will see what I'm trying to do is, let me bring it here. Okay, so I'm trying to make one update statement dynamically. Okay, so it I'm giving the how that update statement will be prepared. It will be prepared like update the first variable, the table name. Okay, so it will say update a table name. For example, say as of now I have table employees. Okay, set the second variable, the column name, the set it will be column name, whatever column name I pass, and the value. Okay, the new value, the column value, what I need to provide the updated value. And the next value is condition column. Okay, that condition column that I'm getting from the parameter, and the condition value upon which condition it should be executed. Okay, one example is here that I'm trying to perform. I'm trying to update employees, then set salary, then equals to the value. This is the value. Okay, and if you see current salary of this employee ID equals to 1 is how much? Okay, ID of John is 50,000, but I'm changing his salary to 58,700. Okay, so if I perform this, let me first create the function. Okay, function is created. Now let's update it. Okay, the value must be updated. Let's check that value from database. Okay, if you see for John, the salary value is updated. Okay, similarly, we can try other things as well. Okay, so in this video, we have seen 8 use cases of Dynamic SQL in PostgreSQL. In the next video, I will show you how there is one scenario. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so we have created lots of functions, the dummy functions we want that we don't need in our database, or there is a use case that we want to drop these functions or drop some views or procedures upon a condition. Okay, so instead of doing it one by one, so how can we do it using dynamic query? Okay, similarly we use all underscore objects, that is system view in Oracle. Similarly, I'll use something in this for PostgreSQL, and I'll make that example ready for you. Okay, so subscribe my channel to get notifications for that video if you haven't subscribed yet, and also you can check out my channel page to get more interesting video on PostgreSQL database. So let's meet in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.